Hey, welcome to the Elle Russ Show. My name is Elle Russ, and I am a #1 best-selling author and master coach. My intention is to inspire, educate, and motivate you with weekly content featuring amazing guests and solo episodes. Visit my website, elleruss.com, to learn more about me, my courses, free masterclasses, partner discounts, and much more. Enjoy the show. Happy New Year. Today, I'm actually recording this episode on Monday, January 1st. We woke up to an earthquake this morning in California, so that was an interesting start to 2024. I wanted to do a few reflections today. I just want to talk about some things that may be affecting you or not, and how to head into the new year. Last year was a great year for me. This year has started off already amazing, but I've had shit years, and I know what that's like. So if that's you, then here are some tips and things to think about as you go forward with trying to accomplish whatever goals that you want in 2024. And it doesn't matter. It could be a career goal. It could be a romantic goal. It could be the goal to get pregnant. I don't care, or to get healthy, So before I get into that, let me start off by saying I have several courses that you can jump into. A new one I came out with recently called Communicate. It's only $24. It's underpriced, but I did that intentionally because that course is really about writing, speaking, and self-promotion. But even if you're not totally into that, or you're not doing that stuff yet, it is very encouraging because I tell snippets and stories of my life and my success. And I think some of the things that people have an issue with is judging a negative situation. So let's say something happens in your life that's negative. So for me, I've had a couple of things. I got horrible hypothyroidism when I was 30. My arms were permanently disabled at the age of 22. So I've had things that have hit me where you're like, are you kidding me? I'm cursed. Why me? Of all the people in the world. But those things, as I talk about in my second book, Confident as Fuck, have turned out to be the biggest gifts ever. The biggest gifts. I'd never take either one of those things back. Even though hypothyroidism basically ruined 7 years of my 30s, which I can't get back. But I still, if I had the choice today, and they said, would you take those two things back and have full, your arms be perfect and never lost those 7 years of your life to hypothyroidism, I would say no. Give it to me again. Those gifts were so amazing, not just for character building, but for the success that they brought me. Literal financial success. Talk about turning lemonade, from lemons. It's that kind of thing. One of the things I want to talk about is treading the trail. What do I mean by this? So just give you a brief example. During the pandemic, for about 2 years, I hiked. There's not much to do, right? So I went hiking with my hiking buddy, and we hiked like 750 miles over 2 years. And here's what we do. We were so used to the same trails, but everything was dead and the world was, just shut down. And so I would look at maps and try to find new trails. I'd look at satellite images, and we would drive to something, and it would be, again, I live in a very mountainous region, and there are lots of hidden secret trails that the main population, when they're looking at hiking trail books, don't have access to. So I used to joke with my hiking partner because we would start a new trail that we'd never done before off the side of some random road we found, and there'd be an offshoot. And I'd go look at the offshoot, or he'd go look at the offshoot, and he'd come back and he'd be like, nah, I don't think there's anything back there. And I'd be like, well, hold on a minute. And I'd kind of go on that trail a little bit farther. And suddenly I'd be like, dude, there's a freaking waterfall back here. Like, it kept happening. So we joked around that my my hiking partner, not my writing partner, was a trail skeptic. And we would just joke every time we came to some offshoot, he'd be like, I don't know, it doesn't look. And I'd look at him and he'd go, okay, you're right. Anyway, the multitude of the variety of trails that we found from offshoots were from just getting on these motherfuckers to begin with. So what am I talking about here? You've got to take one step towards something, tread the trail, because you don't see the offshoots until you get on it. You really, really don't. And I know, oh, whatever, hiking metaphor. Yeah, what is she going to pull out, like peeling layers of the onion metaphor or the seed planting metaphor? No, but really this is true. You have to tread the trail. That's where action comes in. Look, I have used intention to get myself to where I am, but I combined it with action. So what can you take one step to tread the trail? And maybe that's, well, I'm thinking about starting a business where I want to sell, you know, body scrubs. I don't know what to do. Well, maybe it's the one thing you do to tread the trail is to just go look at competitor companies. Go look up people who are already doing it. Maybe if you can reach out to someone who's doing it on a small level and say, I'm thinking about doing this. Is there any wisdom you can share? Would you be open to having a conversation with me? When you tread the trail, or when you do a pro you move, as I say in my book, Confident as Fuck, you get delivered some prizes. I know it sounds woo-woo, but just try it because I'm telling you, you do something for yourself. So whether that's for your career or whether that's speaking up or finally breaking up with the toxic boyfriend, like it doesn't matter what the move is if it's pro you. And what do I mean by pro you? Pro authentic you. What's authentic? Because if you're in a toxic relationship that you hate, you know you are, but you don't leave for some reason, whether it's fear or whatever, right? Or just fear of abandonment, fear of never finding anyone else. Maybe this is the best you can get, whatever, all that kind of junk that would go along with that scenario. But it all goes away when you take the move. The pro you move would be, I'm not tolerating that shit anymore. Or I'm going to go ask for that promotion finally, damn it. Or I'm going to go talk to my boss and see why I've been passed up these past 3 times. Because maybe this year's the year I need to go get a new fucking job. What are you going to do to tread the trail? So you have to get on it. Now, you can materialize things from your living room, sitting and thinking about them. Absolutely. And I have too, but those are things that are more likely phone calls and opportunities coming in. You will still have to do the job. Even if you just finished writing a business plan and then you just meditated on it, and then someone called you the next day and was like, I'm looking to invest. That's great. You're still going to have to do like some fucking work though, right? If you want to write a book, I can't magically materialize a book to sell. It's never going to happen. Also, if I get my leg amputated, I cannot think myself a new leg. So there are limitations to intention and, law of attraction, materialization, whatever term you want to use. But by far, action and treading the trail, we've all heard that saying, and even if you're not religious, you can replace the word because I'm not religious, but that saying, God helps those who help themselves. The universe helps those who help themselves. The aliens that be, whatever it is that you believe, but that's the treading the trail. Take a step. So think about some kind of step you can do. Maybe it's all areas of your life, like in dating, can you take a step? In career, can you take a step? In health, can you take a step? Maybe you've got health and romance covered, but you're really, usually we are great at manifesting and materializing a specific thing, but maybe bad at others. So I have a friend who's wonderful at manifesting financial success, but terrible at, or had been terrible at manifesting and materializing relationships. But they did the work in that area. So you might have a particular trouble spot. Maybe you're like, oh, making money is not my problem. I make money hand over fist. What my problem is friendships or, right, happiness, or it just, again, maybe it's romantic. That usually happens with a lot of people who are financially successful, maybe didn't have enough time to pursue a relationship or were too focused on that, or in general, just weren't sinking into those types of feelings because they were in alpha go-go entrepreneur mode. But you've got to get on the trail. You won't see the offshoots. Sometimes the offshoots are better than the trail. And this is what I talk about in my Communicate course and even in my Confident as Fuck course, which is I treaded a trail with the intention of one thing, and the offshoot that came up turned out to be better than the whole damn frickin' thing that I had sort of had in my head from the beginning, but I was just following the first thing, right? Following that first trail, and then you see what comes up. And I'm telling you, the stuff that comes up is absolutely amazing. Here's another thought on not only treading the trail, but if you are thinking about a transition in life, like starting a new business, doing something new, you know, declaring yourself as something else. Like I was working in the corporate world and now I want to be a voice coach. Like whatever the thing is that you need or want to transition to, there's a tough detachment situation that happens in these moments. And here's the detachment. It's the feeling of what will everyone else think when I decide to say that I'm going to do this new thing. That's one of them. The other is an internal difficult time with releasing the attachment you had to that story of that career or that thing that you said you were going to do or that you got a degree in, right? You went to law school, you became a lawyer, you just a lawyer. Now what? You're going to be a freaking doula, right? Like everyone's going to be like, what are you doing? Right? Or something like that. So not only preparing for that, but just knowing that the stumbling blocks are usually from what we think other people might think and say. And again, I want to repeat that because it's not what they will say or what they will think. It's what you think they will think. So you're projecting a false situation onto someone else to begin with, and you're also locking up your, personal worth and desires into someone else's opinions. Fuck that. We're not doing that in 2024. We're not doing that ever. But definitely don't do it this year. So one of my examples is, I was writing sketch comedy for a time and performing it. And then I started to write a documentary, started to get into books. And I remember being like, wait, oh no, to sort of my old path, my old declaration of I'm intending on being a comedy writer. But then it turned over here. And it's not to say I'm still not. I have several pilot episodes and things like that. I'm sure I'll always be a comedy writer at heart, but it's what about was prioritized in my life. And so when I got sick with hypothyroidism and I was like compelled to write that book, then all the other stuff fell sort of a little bit to the wayside, a little bit less of a priority in my life. But sometimes that's almost like a breakup with oneself. It sort of feels like a breakup with one's former dreams and goals. And also then you're kind of breaking it up with the world because the world knows you as this thing. So one of the funny things for me was I was known as a comedy writer, comedy actor, improviser, etc. And then when I had my thyroid book come out, I would get emails from, and like texts from comedy buddies that were like, wait, what? You're like a health author? They thought that was really like, we didn't see that one coming. But then the people who read my book or took my course or all of that would, email me and be like, wait, I just saw you on an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, what? You're an actor? So just very funny, but you can be all the things, first of all. And not that I'm pursuing all those things full force at this point. You got to go with what you love. That is what I have done. Don't be too attached to the fact that you said you were one thing. Damn it. You told everyone just last year they were going to do this. That's okay. Fucking change. I know a couple coaches who you see throughout like every year, they're changing their thing a couple times. They're refining their audience. They're refining their message. And they're also sort of going with what they're interested in. And some people might be like, oh, what? They can't decide what they are. No, go for it. Because in the experimentation of it, you do decide what you really are and what you want. So sometimes you get on the trail to become a thing. And along the way, something else comes up that's drawing you towards it. And now you're like, but wait. It's okay. I've been through it many times. The way to accept it is to know that the reason you're going in the other direction is you're compelled, right? Like I was compelled to write a documentary. I was compelled to write these books. So I'm going further and further away from the comedy and I'm going, but I'm compelled. I didn't let my logic or any kind of fear about what other people would think or any stubbornness, like, damn it, no, I am going to keep doing that thing. I went with what was igniting me inside and literally pulling me to do it. Like, couldn't help but not write that first book, couldn't help but I just was drawn to it. If you're drawn to something, you go for it. But let's get back to the beginning topic, which is treading the trail. First of all, you have to tread the trail. Once you're on it and offshoots come up and offshoots that you want to take, even though you told everybody that you were treading that first trail, understand that people's opinions of what you do don't freaking matter. All that matters is what is your opinion of you. And The bottom line, the thoroughfare with every interview that's ever been done with 90-year-olds, 100-year-olds, people on their deathbeds, it's always the same. Doesn't matter what country it's in. The biggest regrets that people have are, number one, I wish I wouldn't have lived my life the way so-and-so wanted me to, right? So that would really go for parents that are like, you're going to be a doctor, right? You're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you did it. Okay. That's one example. So I wish I wouldn't have lived my life based on what other people said I should do. And then really the biggest regret is I wish I would have done the things that I wanted, but were too afraid to. Don't get to the end of 2024 with regrets, certainly not the end of your life. Tread that fucking trail. If you need help with confidence and self-esteem, take my confidence course. It's an extremely low cost. Take my Communicate course just for a little bit of inspiration. Even if you're not thinking about writing, speaking, or public promotion, it's $24. You might get some insightful life coaching confidence gems in there. My confidence course is actually 15 hours of me talking about this, encouraging stuff, specific examples. It includes a digital copy, like a PDF of my book, Confident as Fuck. Maybe that's what you need to jumpstart this year, but either way, think today, what steps can I do to tread the trail in any area of my life, health, romance, friendships, family, health, whatever the category is, or the categories where you feel need assistance. What are you going to do to tread the trail a little bit? One step, even if the step is, well, I interviewed Mark Allen on the Primal Blueprint podcast a couple of years ago when I did that show. And I love Mark Allen, Marcallen. And Mark Allen didn't know anything about business, but wanted to start a business. And so literally his business plan, the first business plan he did was just writing down. The first thing was talk to people who know about business. Maybe your tread the trail is that minute. Maybe it's that, just one beginning. And he did. He went to the local dry cleaner or whatever, or his landlord. And he was like, hey, you seem to rent properties and you have a business. I don't know how this works. How do you start a business? He just started talking to people. That's a tread the trail. And some of you, and I said this on the podcast with him, most people would think that that's not even taking a step, but it totally is. And by the way, Mark Allen's experience of what happened and how he materialized the most incredible investor for his business with total ease, without even hitting the pavement, was literally just by him treading the trail, or the God helps those who help themselves, or the universe helps those who help themselves. So get on it. Get on it. I can say from personal experience that action makes your dreams come true. You know that 98% of people who attempt to write a book fail at it? Action, focus, and perseverance is really the name of the game, along with intention, getting the mindset right, getting the vibes right, locking into the feelings. But if you don't have the action, and you don't need to be type A-ish like me, even though I'm also type Z. I'm very type A. I knock it out. I get it done. I rock it. However, I'm real lazy. I spend a lot of time chilling. I really, really enjoy my life. And so just as a snapshot, if you don't know much about my life, I haven't been following me for a while. I was disabled at the age of 22. Can't use my fucking arms more than a couple of hours a day repetitively. So you have to wipe yourself, cook, clean, do all that kind of shit, get in the car, drive errands. That's all your hands. Checking your iPhone, hands. All hands. I can't really use my hands for more than several hours a day without having it compound into a disaster. So I've been able to accomplish all that I've been able to accomplish. You can go look at my website or just Google my name, with literally not as much as probably 99.9% of you listening in terms of having the ability. So I have a serious physical disability, and I'm able to do all that I can do. I'm able to take all of those actions. You can probably do it faster and quicker than even I can, if you are able-bodied, right? So all of the things in my life. I had major success at 22, was making six figures on my way to make $250,000, got disabled. Oh shit. I don't have my hands. I have to use my voice. By the way, when this happened in 1997, there was no MySpace, podcasts, YouTube, iPhones, Instagram, nothing. There was nothing. So I had to go, okay, got to go to acting school, do it the right way. Maybe I'll become a newscaster. I don't know. I got to get trained in my voice. I treaded the trail, and every little tread of that trail led me to literally the most amazing experiences. I was sitting talking with a family member over the holidays who was at my house, and they were looking at all my books and stuff, and they're like, wow, you've like done so much stuff, or someone will interview me and Google me and go, wow, like you've done all this. Man, I'm telling you right now, none of that fun shit, which all of it was so much fun that I'll knock on wood here, but if I die tomorrow, I'd be so happy about the life I've lived up until now. I want to live longer because I hope this doesn't happen. The worst podcast episode ever, but loving every minute of all of my experiences. They are far more vast. I feel that people have lived vicariously through me as a result of that, which I don't want, right? We want people to live their own wonderful lives. But I know that a lot of people are living vicariously through others because they're not either clear about what they want or not treading the trail. So please start, because every time I treaded the trail and went with this and, oh, this is interesting over here and I'll go over here, led to amazing experiences. I mean, we're talking like yacht parties, Cannes Film Festival 2002, swam with dolphins in Palau, rode in helicopters with natural history filmmakers in Africa. I went to the Variety magazine's like 50th anniversary thing years ago. I was like sitting next to like Tony Danza and like, who's the woman? My God, why can't I think of her name? Sound of Music. Julie Andrews sang, and she was sitting at the table next to me. I almost had a fucking meltdown. Worked for some of my heroes, worked for Matt Stone and Trey Parker, who do South Park, and just have had an amazing experiences with travels, with friends. I've spent a month each in Kauai and Maui. I've been able to design my life and make my own schedule. All of that is the result of me treading the trail and taking a look at the offshoots. Even though people knew I was treading the first trail, everyone was counting on that. I had to maybe take a turn. Go with what you love, guys. It ends up somewhere really freaking amazing. And usually, like they say, and it's cliche, but you do what you love, the money will follow. It's been absolutely true in my life. Whatever it is that you're wishing for 2024, go get it. I just wish I can impart on everyone that anything is possible for you. The potentials are unlimited. But if you just keep simmering and limboing in your house, in your head, in your dream state about all of the things you want to do, and you're not getting out there and putting the hiking shoes on, and you're taking one step on that trail, you're never going to get there. Take a couple steps, guys. Take a few steps. All right, you can visit elleruss.com to contact me or to learn more about my courses. And I just hope everyone has a wonderful start to 2024. Hey listeners, over the years, a ton of companies have approached me to collaborate, but I will only promote companies whose products I believe in and that I actually use and consume on a regular basis. So let me tell you about some of my favorite companies that I can offer you discounts for. Rep Provisions, an amazing company doing incredible things for our planet, topsoil, and animals with regenerative agriculture, and it's my #1 source for quality pasture-raised meat and chicken. Visit repprovisions.com and use code L15 for 15% off. I'm also obsessed with a company called Carnivore Crisps. They make a lean, all-natural, and delicious alternative to conventional snacking, made with just real meat and real salt. Totally addictive, and my favorite ones are the beef brisket and the ribeye. Visit carnivorecrisps.com and use code PALEO10 for 10% off. I also love and regularly use Paleo Valley products. They make amazing supplements and delicious paleo products. I use the Superfood Greens Powder, grass-fed beef sticks, the Organ Complex, and their bone broth bars. I love the lemon and apple. I also use their Essential C Complex and more. Visit paleovalley.com/promos/Elle Russ for 15% off. I also love Primal Kitchen. They make delicious paleo-approved, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and no refined sugar products. And I use them daily, from their collagen powders and sauces and marinades to their avocado and olive oil. So good, so healthy. Visit primalkitchen.com and use code L10 for 10% off. I also love paleo powder and use it almost on everything I cook. They make incredible seasoning blends, and they also have these incredible grain-free coatings that feel just like crispy breadings that you would have had prior to knowing that there's another way. So visit paleopowder.com and use code L15 for 15% off.